Because they were in Cruise together with Java, Radish, and Megd, and now all three of them playing Orb Legends. So we're going to be seeing kind of the evolution of that playstyle that North America is known for, the passive and neutral heavy. And I think Petra, a great character to do that on. Great stat line, great skins you got as well, and Monihalla sticking to the greatsword, and so far being a very strong presence on the stage, and that's what you're going to be hoping to see. You know, we talk a lot about greatsword being a strong grounded weapon, but they also have some pretty great tools at contesting the air. Anti-airs and rising aerials can definitely put a stop to a lot of what Megd wants to do movement-wise, and Megd so far has been on the aggression with the orb, utilizing a lot of triple jumps in center to bait out options, and it's already working versus Monihalla, who's taking the bait and taking big damage for it. Megd now switching over to the gauntlets, as you are now into that KO confirm percent, or damage I should say, and Megd looking to find a big hit with this side air into side, or side light into side air. Monihalla can't find a weapon though. The weapon starve has been way too successful for Megd. Money needs to find a weapon quickly.
Dashing on the stage, is able to bait out a Sair, picks up sword, got the lightsaber. Thank you, Star Wars. This is probably one of the best crossovers in a while, but still, Ensig just barely snags Megd's feet, but doesn't send up to the sky. Nair gives him a little bit more room to play. D-Light recovery sends. Money back in the race. Starts for greatsword, charges up the throw, and maybe trying to snag in a sword, maybe double it down, or you know, whatever people do to manipulate the weapon cycle. Dodges up and almost completely runs out of options to try and evade any ledge guard that Megd could have thrown at him, but no, it was actually the answer back. Megd said, hey, you're out of a dodge. Free range for a Sair. Money still just dashing around, trying to find whatever they can. I think the weapon that they're gonna have next is a sword. Yep, there it is. It's a bit more than a sword. It's a laser light beam sword. It's one of them fancy doohickeys. But still, nonetheless, the orb from Megd is looking solid as ever. We hyped up his gauntlets a bit, but orb, I mean, we sang our praises to Radish about orb, and that he's one of the few people really making it look like a force to be reckoned with, that it's probably been for a while, but still, there also have been a few people behind him, just like Megd, that could be also starting to prove that point, although gonna have to try and see if he can prove that point for the last stock or next game, because although Money had a bit of a shaky start in the first few interactions, had to spend a lot of time unarmed, making up for it, doing some sweeping.
Yeah, I mean, so far it's been pretty solidly Monihalla holding onto the stage. I'm sure if you like check how many times they jump stat, Megd would be maybe double or triple with Monihalla, because Monihalla has just been holding on to the stage so effectively and playing that anti-air game as I was talking about. Money's like, well, if you're just going to wait for me to go in on you triple jumping, I'll just not go in, and you're eventually going to have to land into me. And it's been working out in that way. Megd's been putting themselves in really bad spots because of it, and Monihalla knows that and is holding on. Megd getting a side air, not enough to KO, and now Monihalla looks to just build on that extra credit, that sweet extra credit versus Megd. Nice weapon toss to speeding up the time it takes to land back. Megd with the side air, though, is going to close out that stock. And now it's not over, because I think he might have a greatsword in the pocket ready to go, but the weapon starve on that second stock was so strong for Megd. Not going to happen here, though. Greatsword gets picked up by Money.
Sidelight doesn't really quite lead into anything. Megd still trying to get a good download on the Money. Able to land a pretty decent combo, but still, Money responds. Still doesn't also follow up anything after the bridge, but is able to follow up with a finisher as a second combo. Dashes back for sword. Recovery doesn't send. One more D-Light recovery. Maybe even a D-Light Sair could open up the chance to edge guard out this game. Still recovers against the stage. Dodges through the N-Light. Megd chasing around, trying to find whatever option that they can. N-Light just barely.
Oh, this is big.
Over the age, running out of options. The recovery doesn't actually come through.
Oh, no.
Sair. Can he complete it? Can Megd find it?
It's so close here. That juggle could have meant it all, but it doesn't for Megd, as Monihalla able to get back on the stage with the lightsaber and get the downlight into recovery, who has been the one with the lead, but Megd just really, I mean, you can never count Megd out, no matter how dire the straights might be. It's going to be Megd forcing you to those last stock, very high intensity situations, and Monihalla looking to shake that one off and get right back into the speed that they've been playing at. Now you see the juggles come out for Monihalla as they are constantly swinging at each other now in this game number 2.
Megd is an endurance runner. You got people who sometimes play to sprint. Megd's here for the marathon. Guy's got mental of steel. It's got steel plating around his brain There's no shaking him. You 3-stock him, he just finds a way to come back. Money's able to land a pretty nasty combo on him, send Megd down in the next stock, but what do you know, this game's still going to go to sudden death. This man is here for the long haul. This man packed his bags, and he is cruising just under the speed limit. You're not going to outspeed him. You just have to slowly let him lose, and even then, probably not going to happen, because he's just really good at Brawlhalla.
Yeah, this strategy is good for the mental, and that's what Megd is going to need to try to bring this one back. And as you said, you know, Monihalla had a really early stock with that greatsword. Doesn't matter, Megd just slowly whittling their way back, and now it's an even stock situation. Megd on the gauntlets hasn't found as much success on the gauntlets comparatively to the orb. Hopefully we can find some of that here, but so far Money has been very good at kind of playing around that range where you can bait the gauntlet player to actually throw out a button and then dash out of the range. So you're seeing a lot of side lights getting whip punished from Megd specifically. You got to watch out for that, and especially those jumps as well. As I say that, Megd finding a bit of a group here, a pocket to ride, as the damage has been slowly building up for them. Money has just been so quick, though, because as soon as Megd drops a juggle and Money's back on the stage, Money's ready to throw out those hitboxes, become that hazard on the stage, and just create so much space for themselves. And so far, Megd's been struggling with that, and this is kind of the playstyle you want now in this sword versus gauntlets, that whip punish. And I think Money, knowing that, gets hit with that neutral sig almost enough to KO. Nice unarmed combo to give yourself a little bit of time to potentially grab a weapon. That sidelight will give you that great sword back. Nice dodge to avoid the neutral sig, but it is so close here. It's really anyone's stock.
Megd playing very floaty, lands the Sair, doesn't quite send. Money chance to recover. Is he able to get up from the corner, or does it dare shut him out? Whiffs the side sig, sidelight into end sig. I saw some of y'all in chat waiting for that end sig to come out. Guess what? We're finally seeing the orb end sig come out to play. He's used it a few times, but not to the success of landing the stock ending KO that we really, really need to see an orb end sig hit on Petra. However, it's going to be all of these little mini combos, these little, I don't know if you could call those, call it what he was doing a bread and butter, but he's landing some like small little 2-steps, these little small 3-piece combos, and building up a whole truck ton of damage and making this game look darn near impossible for the Jaehyun. But still, this stock is not looking impossible. Great sword could challenge gauntlets off stage, but maybe not rest so much on stage, because the end light opens up for the recovery. We have this set 1-1, and that's a pretty big statement to Money right now.
Holding kind of near where Money was and not giving them any space to breathe, and I think that's where Megd wants to be with that movement. Always in your face, ready to whiff punish, and the whiff punish game plan has been working out very well, especially versus the greatsword on the orb. We'll see if the gauntlets can do the same here in game number 3. As it is 1-1, I called that it was going to go the distance. I do think we're going to be getting a game 5, but I think it's too close to tell who's really going to win this one, because it is so close.
That's just how Megd plays best. Pushes your buttons. He takes you the distance. You think you have a lead in the set, but he's got the next 4 games planned out. 40 chess, right here. This guy is. Sometimes I feel like he intentionally brings it to game 5 just to kind of mess with you, because he knows he can win the game 5. Sometimes as a Brawlhalla player, you do a little bit of trolling.
That, I don't know if that was what we just saw was trolling, but Megd like literally ran laps around the stage using that soft platform to kind of mix up their approach, and it didn't really work out in terms of the damage department, but Megd looks all too comfortable moving around. This is kind of where Megd starts finding their flow state, is when they're able to just navigate the stage very cleanly. Nice side air to punish that whiff punish on the neutral sig on the Jaehyun. Now Petra potentially had an opportunity to go for a spike there, didn't find it, and now it is back to being this whip punish game plan on the sword versus the orb. I feel like the sword hasn't been working out for Money as well, versus orb specifically, because a lot of your moves, no matter how much they buff downlight, you can still punish with sidelight into Sair, and that just, I mean, especially at the high damage, is just so much.
So Money has not really struggled with some of these KOs too much. Granted, with Megd spacing, sometimes it isn't hard to really fish for that, but hey, a nair or recovery will find its way into your lap eventually. Sometimes players, they struggle with the KO a little bit. Sometimes people just happen to main characters that you gotta wait a bit longer for the KO than others, but that's not something that Money has really struggled with. when the time comes down to it, he knows how to sit down, find the KO. The only reason that he's struggling right now in this game is because Megd, like you said, running laps around him. I know I said marathon earlier, but the guy's taking it a bit too literally and making it very, very hard for Money to approach him, taking up the skies, trying to find the right time to land for a Sair. Notice the orb doesn't dip over the stage, doubles down the ground pound whiffs, and this could be very, very bad for Money. Just barely creeps back. Another orb pops into Megd's hands. Megd trying to guard that weapon, throws, and actually continues to hold orb, knowing that a sidelight Sair is probably going to be a bit more safe and consistent than anything Gauntlets might be able to throw out. Nay, it is the recovery. Megd turning the set in this favor. First game was incredibly confidently handed over to Jae-Yun, but this is a brand new man on the sticks.
You were talking about it being a marathon, and Megd isn't dashing, he's running. I mean, he is using the entire stage to his advantage, and that's exactly what you need to see. That long distance movement, just taking all the space you're given, because if Money's going to hold on to the space around them so confidently, Megd will utilize the rest of it and find a way through, and that's been exactly what's happening, and it's been working out so far. Nice avoidance on that finisher, and nice avoidance on that neutral sig as well on the greatsword. Nice recovery, continues to juggle. Megd in a very dominant spot underneath the soft platform. It becomes so difficult to land. It becomes so difficult to play the game when Megd has the whole stage to run around, and that sidelight into cider is going to put an exclamation point on that game 3, and Megd's going to go up here.
But we're kind of always hoping for those Pavelski moments. We're kind of always hoping for the blender to get plugged in one more time and to start to see some juices flowing. So maybe we could see that on Demon Island, but I feel like some of the ways that the blast zones are a bit closer to the stage could also help out a high attack Petra. So could go either way. This buffs both characters here, but still, Megd's mental buff in any situation, really hard to overcome.
Very, very clean positioning for Megd to go underneath the weapon toss, knowing that Monihalla has been utilizing the greatsword weapon toss to put a hitbox out and give them safe harbor back to the stage. Megd reading that and hugging that underneath the wall, finding the cider to close it out. This Demon Island pick, I mean, I think, you know, what you saw in the last game was Megd using the soft platform to really run away with the game. But now you're playing versus the Megd Gauntlets on Demon Island, a place that very, very few players will find success versus, because Megd has been conditioning you all game long to fear the orb. But when it comes down to the Demon Island, the Gauntlets what reigns supreme. And right now, Megd's showing that you cannot take me to this stage on my Petra. My Gauntlets will eat you alive. And so far, Monihalla can't find any reprieve to the pressure. Megd continues to just put on the big damage. The neutral light into the neutral stick doesn't find a connection, but continues to put on pressure. Megd has already lapped Monihalla's damage, and Monihalla's on their last stock. Megd's on their first.
Megd, if this is because I was second guessing your Petra, I'm sorry. You don't have to be so mean to Money, okay? You could be nice to. I believe you. You could be nice to him. Dude, all right. Where are your manners? I'm sorry for questioning you. I'm sorry, okay? You've proven it.
Just an absolute dismantling there from Megd on the Gauntlets. There's not even much analysis to give, because you went to Demon Island versus the Gauntlets. You chose this fate, and the fate was given to you, in 484 damage on the Gauntlet from Megd. Every single edge guard just led into KOs, and that's all it takes. Oh my goodness.